very much, comrades. Thank you very much for your coming today to this case that has been put on court by some organization I used to know. I just forgotten it. But thank you very much. The court, as you know, was discussing the issue of the name of our party, UMkhonto weSizwe Party, because the ANC challenged this and claimed that this was their organization, etc., etc., etc. Now we said, no, it's not true. It's not true. The history of this organization has been discussed, how it came about. And I think when we have been talking, we've been explaining, firstly, what is MK, how it came about, what happened to it, and why we then revived this one now. The matters are very clear. When the ANC, as the organization of all of us, was banned, the freedom fighters put together, not one organization, finally took a decision that because the ANC was non-violent and it had been burned, and the leaders of the ANC felt, let it continue underground, whilst not non-violent, but let us establish a new organization to rescue our people. And a long discussion took place within the ANC, and finally the ANC felt it was a good idea. They agreed. Then it was important that we therefore include what was then called the alliance, the original one, not the tripartite, the original one of 5 organizations, which was the ANC, the South African Indian Congress, the Colored People's Congress, the Congress of Democrats, those were the whites, and Zethu, which was the trade union movement. That was the original alliance. Why were these separated like this? It's because during that time, groups in this country, different groups, were not allowed to be in one organization. If you were a member of the ANC, an Indian would not be allowed to join towards apartheid. Second, the Coloureds were not allowed to join the ANC because it belonged to the Africans, and the whites as well. But of course, in the process, a revolutionary trade union had come about called Zethu. And therefore, because it was important we meet together to discuss the question of oppression in the country, if we were to be found together in one of these organizations, we would be arrested. So, a decision was taken, let us have an alliance, which must be led by the ANC. So that when we meet, we discuss as not one organization, but as an alliance. It's important to know this history as well, because we come from very far. So when the ANC had the initial discussions about, before the name of UMkhonto weSizwe, about a new organization that must wage the armed struggle There is a very important history in it, which we are not going to talk about it right now. But once the ANC National Executive Committee agreed, and it said the matter is not complete if we did not have the entire alliance agreeing to this, because we must all fight our enemy. And the meeting, which took the whole night, was then organized. People who were in the forefront about this organization, which at the time they met had no name. It was comrade leader, a very important one, Walter Sisulu, and the comrade leader, Nelson Mandela. Those were the two who started the discussion. But there is a long history going backwards where it came from, that they must say the time for the armed struggle has come. Firstly, when the National Party declared very rough treatment to us, the system that was called, what was this called, by the way? Huh? Yebo. Apartheid. Oh, apartheid. The first Prime Minister of the Afrikaners in particular said that once he took over, the black man must be put in his place. And the Youth League of the ANC thereafter took a decision that there should be a campaign which was called, what is it called? Defiance campaign. Defiance campaign. Just checking whether you remember. Now, the youth wrote a document which was describing what the defense campaign is going to be. We'll be boycotting, we'll be having strikes, we'll be doing everything against the declaration by the Afrikaners. At the end of that document, the question was, supposing we do all of this, the situation remains the same. And the youth said, we'll then have to take up the weapons and fight. So these two leaders, they were part of that youth league. So when they said, perhaps that time has come now, let us then discuss and convince other comrades that maybe we need to fight. They took it from there and therefore brought a discussion out of the mother body. Finally, the alliance agreed that yes. But for the general members who were known, well known, so that it shouldn't said they are now part of this necessarily organization. It was then said, because our leader Mandela had been the one pushing this discussion, he should then go and establish this organization. The ANC will remain an organization of the non-whites. Now that was done so that there should be a distinction between these two organizations, so that when either soldiers are found or whatever, or freedom fighters, they should know they belong to an organization which was a secret organization, not the ANC. And if you were an ANC member, but you did not join UMkhonto, it did not make it automatic that you are now UMkhonto. No, you remain the ANC. If you were UMkhonto without joining the ANC, you were not necessarily ANC, you were weSizwe. I joined UMkhonto weSizwe early after its formation. And I was a member of the ANC, which was operating underground then. I was a member, yeah. But I couldn't say because I was an ANC member, I was then automatically an MK. No. There was a difference. After the president of the ANC, Chief Lutuli, had proposed the name of this new organization, he told the story, which I've been telling all the time, that we use the sticks to fight. But if there is war, we use the spear. And he said, now that we are saying let us declare the war, maybe we should take our spear. If we take our spear to fight, which is normally carried by one person, now it is the whole nation carrying the spear. So it is UMkhonto weSizwe. But once that decision was taken, then Mandela was elected to establish UMkhonto weSizwe. As you know, in the ANC you join, you sign, there's your signature. In MK, you take a vow that I will die for this country. And when MK emerged in 1961, announced itself that here we are, a new organization that is going to fight for the freedom of our black people. It said we are a secret organization, will never be known, and we are going to fight. And therefore, if we were to be a member of MK then, military one, you have to take an oath. And before this, there's a document that the MK establishers came with, I'm sure many of you know it, which says, the time comes, and who's going to continue? The time comes, there comes a time. No, angisho kamnandi lo mfo. Ufuna ukuzoyisho la, ngamhoza la. Ndoda se-Cape Town le. Awusho ke lokho kuphela.
This is a declaration of UMkhonto weSizwe on its formation and a vow. There comes a time in any nation where there remain only two choices, submit or fight. We shall not submit, we shall fight.
Now, a decision was taken, a very serious decision, taken by serious revolutionaries who were ready to die for the freedom of our people. Why? Because the oppressors had removed the African National Congress from the scene, had burned it, said it, once we are found, we will be arrested. And in other words, we're rescuing the revolution, so to speak. Of course, we fought for freedom and everything. We went to prison, we went abroad, blah, 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 blah. Finally, we were free. 13 years ago. Instead of moving forward, our very organization that was non-violent then, that we moved, and it was the one that was unburned and became the government. In the 13 years of the time, it diverted, moved to a point where you had no hope that our lives would ever change. In other words, it was being killed by those who were leading it at the time. It was absolutely necessary to any revolutionary to remember that we once had an organization that headed to rescue the ANC then. We now have to rescue our struggle now. So I don't know why somebody said this is ANC. No, it's part of the ANC family. UMkhonto weSizwe. But you can't claim it that it is the ANC. No. Of course, there is all information if you need to know. How was it established? It is now that we are faced with a problem that our freedom is being undermined, is being killed. And we say, this is the time to have UMkhonto weSizwe party. UMkhonto weSizwe party. Manje sifuna ukubahlula ngevoti. Vote. Now, we listen to the debate here today. I don't know why people can make themselves feel so bad. I can't tell you what was the argument really. Well, there's been no argument presented here that this party belongs to the ANC. ANC is an organization of its own. UMkhonto weSizwe is an organization of its own. We are going to compete with UMkhonto, with the ANC. Adlala kakhulu lapha amadoda ngaphezu kwamashuba ayisithupha eminyaka. Angikwazi ukukhohlwa. Uyabona mangikhuluma isikhathi bona ukuthi ulimi idwaye mataka baba. Siyoyibuyisa, by the way. Ngoba iANC yifa lobabamkhulu. Mase siphethe uhulumeni sizoyibuyisa izela kuthina. Sikhiphe laba abakhohlakele kuyo. Siyezwana? Ngeke sibaphe. Awunaki ukuthi kade uhlele ekhaya. Makufika igebengu zikuthatha la ubaleke ushiye ikhaya. Mawindodoluwa ufe. Yebo. Uma bebekade ngenile lapha ekhaya ulanda abanye nizobakhipha thatha umzi kababa. Jendaba njalo into ebaleke mase siwinile sokukhuluma politika ephilayo na. Siyezwana? Icala elithethiwe laqedwa namhlanje. Ayisethi kamajaji ngoba kuzekwa ilanga njengoba nibona selentambama. Awazi ukukhipha isinqumo namhlanje. Azositshela ukuthi isinqumo azosikhipha nini. Kodwa maye babo abebekhona bebemayoyana njengenkukhu enethile. Siyilalela ukuthi bazothini. Kodwa sineqiniso ukuthi sinasikhuluma iqiniso nje. Ikakhulukazi ngoba umlando womkhonto uyaziwa. Awuyona imfihlo. Umkhonto nje ngale yankathi kwaku military wing, manje i-political party. Yithi lapho. Asikwazi ukugibela enye inqola singayaziyo. Sigibela lesiyaziyo. UMkhonto weSizwe. Ngoba sifuna inkululeko izigcwala ithi swi kube yithina esiphetheyo. Singaphathelwa abantu abangakwazi ukuphatha. Ngiyabonga ukuthi UMkhonto weSizwe ufike ngezinkani. Ngoba lapho kuthiwa khona naphi uzobulawa kufuneka singabibikho. Kufanele sifike emathuba sokuvikela. Uyabona nje ukuba khona kwenu la kuyinto enkulu wonke umuntu. Hayi kithina kuphela njengomkhonto, kubo bonke abantu base-South Africa. Ngoba bayazi ukuthi ikusasa labo lisemkhontweni. Akekho ngokuphikisa lokho. Amaqembu akhona njengamanje awamaningi mayibabo. Kodwa asisiza ngani? Athini nje kuwezwe nje ukuthi athini ngempilo zethu na. Ona kuthiwa gcwelele incwadi esobe sibuka kuyo masvote. Awezi ukuthi athini. Naye ANC siyashwashwada kulezi insuku. Awusayizi ukuthi ithini. Kutshenda mpela iyashwashwada. Mfuna ukuthi yabona sikhuluma kanjalo. Umkhonto awusho njalo uthi umkhonto hey siyafika siyashintsha izwe siyalungisa siyakhuleka ngokuphethe ethike lapho nizwela kahle siyixoxa kahle indaba eningi mase sikhululekile nje sesihlele emkonfeni nje ngoba sizowina noma kumnyama noma kukhona utshela indaba ungayibuzanga ufuna ukuyizwa lelele maye babo wanda msebenzi imali yode ngekho. Ngiyabonga kakhulu makhumreti ngeke nginilibazise ngoba abanye benu basuka kude fana nithola ithuba nihambe kusakhanya nidrive kahleke bakwethu ningajahi kungabikho moto ezophuma endleleni uma nimbona ukuthi usezela noma udriver ethi ngiyezela manje uma izizwe zela asho ukuthi ngiyezela bafowethu niphumule endleleni uma kudriver yedwa ukuze kungaveli ingozi. Sizwana bakwethu nibaluleke nonke akekho ungabalulekile futhi asifuni ukulahlekelwa amavoti singakavoti bakwethu. Socela nalensizwa le yolokhuza nabakholwayo ukuthi uma singakavoti ake bakhohlwe nje kusilanda lena bathi masifikile isikhathi ke basithi kusibeka kancane kuze kudlule lokhuzana sesingahamba ke ngomvoka lokho. Okwamanje sinida 2/3 majority ukulungisa izinto zomzwakithi. Ngiyabonga ngifuna ukubonga ikakhulukazi abafowethu esisebenza kanye nabo abakholwayo babonakala ngeingubo ke la bagqoke ezinye ingubo ngeke igqokwe enebhande elibomvu elokhuzeni entanyeni ngeke moba ifaka nje wabona izingilo zokujaha zilikhumula uyazela phento. Bonga kakhulu bafowethu sibonga kakhulu ngani nje ukuthi sibe ndawonye ngaso sonke isikhathi. Sibonga kakhulu nenkosi emela amakhosi kulokho ngoba njengoba sishilo sithe amakhosi akithi azobusa uma kubusa abelungu emazweni akubo labengayifuni bazothi shube ngaphekwanga. Angithi uQueen uphethe eNgland inkosi manje thina ayiphathi ngana wethu amakhosi ayabuya ke abuya ngenkani futhi akekho into ozoziphikisa yibona abanikazi bezwe sizobakhela indlu ephezulu ube yibona abasithumayo ngezwe labo ngoba namhlanje sesithatha nombane ukuthi uyena osephethe izwe lonke nongenandaba nezwe akanandaba nalo kodwa ukuthi usiphethe akasiphethe. Sifuna amakhosi abanikazi bendawo abazosiza uma sithi ake nenze imvuli yehle nakho libalele bayazi ukubenzani khona ukuthiwa yini konje laba bantu umama bahlala entabeni onomkhubulwana kakasisuthu unomkhulu neking nomkhula king silwane ihlokwane lihlokwane bathi angisho namanje litso awuzwa-ke litsokwane nomkhubulwane-ke lo. In other words sifuna izwe lakithi liphindele emva libuse sihlale ngokukhululeka nangokujabula sazi sihlele ezweni lethu siliphethe. Ubuka manje noma ngabe kuthiwa sesikhululekile amaphoyisa enza ukuthi asisize uma ubona iphoyisa uyethuka kufuna uma ubona iphoyisa ujabule ukuthi hawu Nkosi yami ngisave manje. Siyezwana awuyamnandi le ndaba yamnandi le ndaba ukuba semkhontweni. Viva Mkhonto, viva! Viva Mkhonto, viva! Chikitela mkhonto chikitela. Chikitela mkhonto chikitela. Vota mkhonto vota. Vota mkhonto vota. Unaze nabahle. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Awulethu umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Awulethu umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Awulethu umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Ngiyambambezela umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Ngiyambambezela umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Umshini wami, umshini wami. 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 Umshini wami webaba. Awulethu umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Wena uyangibambezela umshini wami, umshini wami. Umshini wami webaba. Wena uzungibambezela umshini wami, umshini wami. Sabonga, sabonga.